Board of County Commissioners come to order, please. First 15 minutes we have allotted for public comment. So if anybody wants to do any public comments.
I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $976,216.66 and $65,466.96.
Been moved. Do I hear a second?
I do second that, but I do have a couple of questions
Okay.
before we do vote on that. Hospital, $400 and some thousand. What is that for exactly?
That's their part of their distribution of the money that is taken from the taxes or that to go to the hospital, to keep the hospital.
Pretty much maintenance and upkeep.
Is it earmarked for anything, or does it just go into their general fund?
It just goes through our general.
Yeah, it's earmarked for maintenance and something else.
upkeep
I'd have to
of
look
the
at the ballot question.
Okay, but it's mainly for maintenance of the building? Is that my understanding of that?
Yeah.
Maintenance and upkeep, upgrades. Yep.
And then another question I had, just for clarification, economic development was $50,000. I know there's an agreement between us and the city to pay economic development. Is that our part of that?
Yes.
So that's to SCCD.
Okay.
And that's a distribution again.
For
City,
the,
I think the city kicks in 90,000 and we kick in 50.
okay. Okay. That's the question I had.
Okay.
Did you vote on that then?
Not yet. We had a motion and a second.
The second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Ashley, on the APs, what's Department 65 Workforce Development?
Health Department.
That's,
So it's a grant that they got and they need to track it specifically to workforce development.
okay. And just for clarification, on the fire truck, did they decide to only buy one?
No.
The second one's in,
It's coming.
it's in this batch. The first
Yeah.
one had its own batch.
Okay.
That was at 65,000.
Okay.
And the second one, they are headed to, I don't know when exactly, but they're headed to Iowa to pick it up.
So, okay.
And then we gotta remember that they're both cab and chassis, and
Yep.
they give us a 366 day to maybe get the box built for both of them, so.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our special meeting and our last meeting on the 12th.
Okay,
I'll second that.
been moved and seconded, approve the minutes of the special meeting and the one on the 12th. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Miss Chrissy, we're ahead of schedule. I see you are top on our list, and I assume these gentlemen are here to,
I do have two more people supposed to come.
okay, well then we'll be glad to wait.
Check the hallway real quickly and make sure they. Nobody yet.
Hey Steve, may I address the commission here real quick?
Yes.
Um,
Would you please go to the mic?
to the mic.
Yeah.
On Matt Wendell, on behalf of the Canarado City Council, I went to a couple LEPC meetings and some different things. And, I mean, it's the subject on, if a disaster would happen to the courthouse or the city office. I kinda had a thought process, and I just wanted to take a minute and kinda seed it with you guys. I don't know if there's some way, say in Canarado, that we were to, build a building to house the county and the city of Goodland's backup, or if something that would happen here, that you guys would have a facility to move into outside the city limits if the city does get wiped out. If you're going IT or having the other part of this is I would like to see that Canarado actually they'd move into the building as well, the city council would. I believe we have the property there. I just didn't know what everybody else's thoughts was as far as emergency plan, versus moving things from building to building inside of Goodland city limits. I just wanted to take a moment to kind of see that.
Well, just to clarify what we have, I mean, I think Eric and Chrissy could weigh in the heaviest on what we currently have in place.
Current plan is the fairgrounds for most of our disaster sites, but like what he said, it's still a very short distance from here.
And
We've
you,
had some COOP exercises, continuity of operations exercises with Ryan, and he can talk more about that with you, or he was in on the last one. And Matt and I talked last week just by chance, and more or less, I mean, Eric's kind of, you know, all the IT stuff is dependent on this building, and that's pretty scary. You know, we've got the backup site 90% done at the police department, but that can get hit as well. I think the idea that he's got is great. Sounds like he's got even a property in mind that may work. So I would like to see us work through it and see if this is a possibility. I think it would work well for everybody.
Do you have any idea of what size of a facility it would take to?
I do not, because I don't know what the county of Sherman or the city of Goodland would actually want or need. I don't know that, so I haven't put any like blueprints or anything, tried to structure anything in that realm.
Right.
Because I think it would be a joint effort from the three entities to actually work through it.
So Matt, have you thought about other use for this building other than just holding the city council in there? I mean, you're gonna put up a good building, it'd be nice to
Right,
use it.
That has came up to mind that on part of it, if there was a place for a basement for more storm shelters and/or having a community building that the kids in Canarado can actually go inside and play on a snow day, if they wanted to do something. I think, there's a lot of that missing over there. Yeah, we have a park, there's an old baseball diamond and stuff that it's not in horrible shape, you can still use it if you wanted to go out there and play. But having an indoor facility for the winter months would be something. And then you, as a fact, you could probably rent it out for, birthdays, dances, or something like that every once in a while, you know.
You could also incorporate storm shelter.
Right.
Like they did at the housing authorities.
I think the door is open to suggestions on what we can do. I know the more ways that we can utilize the building, the better it would be, the easier it probably would be to get, grant fundings or
So I was just gonna
different
say,
things.
your allowances for the building is gonna depend on what you can get for grants.
Right. Well, and then it's also what each entity is willing to
Right.
provide.
Yep. I think it's worth talking about, you know, a lot more.
I would like to next week go to the Gilman City Commission meeting and actually present the same idea, and then trying to get a joint meeting together.
Yep. Yep. Collect some ideas and,
'Cause then on the way over here, I talked to Ryan with emergency management as well, and, you know, besides the inside of Goodland, he doesn't have a spot for his EOC or anything, Emergency Operations Center, or, you start looking towards more things like that,
Yeah.
having a place with water and restrooms and stuff. If something happened over here, you had something within county to help facilitate logistics for different things.
yeah, you've also got, you know, stuff happens out on interstate, winter storms, and, you know, that could be offered up as a shelter, you know, as well. Yeah, there'd be uses for it, for sure. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention. I mean, it's something we can definitely talk about.
Yeah. So, just open your minds and see what thoughts you have and what you
Yep.
feel like you'd need and wouldn't need, and hopefully we can bring it together.
All right?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. If you sit on the front row, you have to participate more.
Well, I guess we can do that.
We're in the public comment section yet of our meeting and waiting for a few people to arrive for some other stuff, so. Did you have fireboard minutes for us?
Yeah, they're in that stack there.
I got them pulled up here.
What's that?
I got them pulled up here. I don't need it.
I didn't. They come in the. nothing on there. We've already approved the one, buying of the fire trucks. And so we'll wait for them to bring the quote for the changing out of the bottles and stuff, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I believe that we're ready with the books
Okay,
that you
well-
have here, so we'll go ahead with it. Darcy and Michelle, will please come up here. Not, I can trade your places.
Christie, can you grab a microphone too, or
I
I'll
was gonna
hold?
grab that
Oh,
one,
okay.
if that's all right. You want me to just kind of do here?
Oh, don't you like center stage?
Not really. That's why we're in the basement. We don't usually see people.
Everybody.
Okay, Chief Earhart, if you would come up here too, please.
Flowers are for me.
You look good.
Good morning, gentlemen. This morning, what I'm doing is I would like to recognize two of my 911 dispatchers. We had an incident at Dollar General. I apologize, we had a little schedule mishap with the ladies from there, but I will catch up to them at a later time. So first, I'll let Chief Earhart read a letter of commendation that he presented me for these two, and then I'll tell you the rest of the story, so to speak.
I wanted to take the time to recognize your fantastic response. During yesterday's event, the proper information was given to law enforcement and the dispatchers remained calm. The event was a high-stress situation that your team, as always, handled extraordinarily well. Often dispatch is overlooked. I want to say on behalf of our team, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Your team is unmatched and makes all incidents smooth. It is truly comforting knowing that your team is behind the radio, keeping us informed. Thank you.
And then I'll give a synopsis of the events. This is a recognition for the heroic efforts of the Dollar General and the Sherman County 911 staff. This event occurred on November 28th of 2023. Possible armed robbery suspects had been in another Dollar General store earlier in the day. Information was shared with area stores, including the suspect's information. Casey, which is one of our recipients, was in her car in the parking lot taking her break when she saw the suspect vehicle arrive. She quickly called 911 and reported it, giving very accurate information and in a timely fashion. Chris, which is our other recipient, was the other employee working at the time. She was tremendous help to law enforcement, directing customers to safety and keeping them calm. The two 911 communication officers worked seamlessly together with law enforcement. As I listened to the radio and phone traffic, it was both overwhelming and impressive. I was extra proud of our team that day. This situation could have gone much worse. Ladies, we appreciate your calm demeanor and willingness to work with us as we manage the chaos in dispatch. Several law enforcement agencies responded and handled the incident quickly. We are lucky to have some of the best in our area. Congratulations and thank you again. Darcy Holmes, 911 Assistant Director for Sherman County 911, and Michelle Rowe, Communication Officer 2, Sherman County 911. And we have certificates for them, one for Darcy. And one for Michelle.
Thank you.
And also, Nick made you some.
Oh,
smell that.
Jason,
Thank you.
try getting a picture behind you. They want to get a picture from behind you.
Dude.
So you have to fit in somewhere and look
You can do
pretty.
it however you would like. You want me to fold it out for you?
Is there a moment?
Michelle?
Got it.
Is this a good spot?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, come on now. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Why aren't we taking pictures?
Just like a cheese for like a minute. Oh, it does.
Oh. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
And could I get?
I'll give you all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, thank you for doing an excellent job. You know, like you said, you're down there in the basement. You know, I know years of being on EMS, you're kinda in the dark, but you're the light that, you know, you make the calls, you align things up and get things moving, and then sometimes we don't know what happens. And that's the part that you guys do a great job of is, so I appreciate your work very much.
We appreciate you, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Good job, ladies.
Congratulations, very well deserved.
Thank you.
Just stick around for the riding part, just in case. Thanks, Jason.
You have more?
No, I was just sticking around for the riding part, just.
Steven was probably like,
Yes,
Good morning.
good morning.
Pass them, if you wanna pass them. Thank you.
Is it all right if we sit up here with you? Is that
Yes,
okay?
that's
Okay.
exactly.
Good morning, that's a nice positive start to the
Yes,
day in here.
that is.
It's very neat. My name is Haley Marple and I work with BOCC companies, and then I have Randy Dick here with me as well. We do health insurance, employee benefits, and we've stopped in and seen Ashley before. Sounds like you guys are happy with Blue Cross, and then it sounds like you work with Rhonda Fernandez, maybe have a contract with her. We think that's great, and we understand that you probably have a good relationship with her. We just kind of wanted to come and tell you our services, see maybe some things that we might do differently than what you have now, and so maybe when that renewal comes up next time, that maybe
Okay,
we could see about using our services and working with you guys. We are from Rossville, Kansas, up in the northeast corner, and Randy has been in the insurance business for almost 30 years. So we recently merged with a larger firm in Kansas City, BOCC companies, and that just allows us a lot of human resources services, a lot of kind of the online things that are new and upcoming, and also a lot of access to the carriers like Blue Cross and things like that. So I'll just go quickly through this if you have any questions at all as we're going through. This is just really casual, just to kind of introduce ourselves and see things going forward. So again, like I said, they're a large firm in Kansas City that works with several different types of businesses, but they really have a large emphasis in public entities. We personally work with counties and cities. We work with Decatur County, that's up here pretty close to you guys, and the city of Phillipsburg, which is kind of in the north region. So we definitely enjoy working with counties and cities and think that we can offer some strong benefits there. With our services, again, we're doing the employee benefits, but as well as human resource assistance, can do different benefit administrations and can help with payroll and things like that. Kind of, we can meet your needs. We never want to mess anything up that's going well, but if there's anything we can do to help, we like to do that. On page 5, you can kind of see, like I discussed with like Blue Cross, we are a blue chip broker, so that allows us some negotiation power at times. But then also with other carriers. From what I've heard, it sounds like you guys really enjoy Blue Cross, so that's great. We wouldn't want to mess anything up there, but we do have relationships with a lot of carriers.
Just briefly, does Blue Cross, do you have any issues with, since you're so close to Colorado, does it cover those benefits just fine? That's what we find for the most part. Every once in a while we hear somebody say that it's an issue, but you're not seeing any issues, but okay.
We've actually got a grandfathered plan.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
good.
So, I mean, we've been there for a long time.
Good. Good, that's great. When it comes to kind of claims and just day-to-day helping out with employees, we, again, are a small office still ourselves, so there's always gonna be a person that you get to talk to. We really pride ourselves on if someone has problems with a claim or, any type of problem, that they're gonna call and get a human person to talk to. They're gonna listen to their problem, and then we'll carry it out in helping them deal with that. So whether that be whether employee benefits or maybe another kind of question that Ashley might have, there's gonna be someone that answers stuff to no matter what. I'm gonna move into kind of the planning area of your plan. Again, we really pride ourselves on not just, okay, let's make it through the next year with a good renewal. We wanna kind of look to the future and 3 years from now, 5 years from now, what is your health plan gonna look like? And making sure that, we're being cost effective, but also having a good benefit for your employees. So this just kind of talks about how we will keep track of your claims, we'll keep track of prescriptions as they're getting to be a really big topic, and come and meet with you and review those things with you. The next piece talks about online enrollment. I don't know if you guys use any type of online enrollment now. Ashley, you do? Okay. The one that we have is Employee Navigator. And basically, and you've probably seen this with using it, having people have their information online makes reporting much easier. When you have someone new or someone terminated, it's all right there. So much easier for whoever's doing payroll. When it comes to new hires and if someone's employment is terminated, when it comes to COBRA and things like that, in Employee Navigator, the feed's gonna go directly to all those carriers. So instead of, I don't know what you guys have for dental and vision and things like that, but instead of having to say, okay, Blue Cross, we terminate, Delta Dental, Surency, Aflac, whoever it may be, terminated in this system, it's just gonna go directly to all those people. So kind of cleans that up, makes sure that all those things are getting checked off. And allows also the employees to see what they're enrolled in, what their deductions are, things like that. On that following page, there's kind of like a screenshot there that shows employees could go through their elections and things like that. When we go to counties, it sometimes seems that not everybody is the most tech savvy. So if you'd rather we sit down one-on-one and put people's information for them, we're happy to do that as well. But we do think it's extremely beneficial to have that in there so that when it comes to reporting and things like that, it's very accessible. And then again, like I said, all those things can feed out to your health insurance for COBRA, for your flexible spending. All of that can be housed right in that platform. Another really high point that I mentioned is the human resources. We see in health insurance, there's so many mandates, there's a lot of compliance things, there's a lot to do with prescriptions and, just letting, giving the information that you are compliant and things like that. So we really pride ourselves on making sure we're sending you everything we need to do. And then there's also a help desk. So whether someone has a question on FMLA or employment, different employee problems, they're there to help you with that, whether it's involved with health insurance or not. They can also help with handbooks, recruiting, keeping employees, all those fun things. And then finally, there's different compliance things throughout the year. We have something called Better Your Business seminars that are just online that we usually tell HR people about that they can attend. There's different benefit bulletins, and we'll just keep sending that stuff to Ashley. And then going forward, if you guys have an interest at looking at someone else for health insurance, if you have an interest in looking at a different consultant, we'd be really appreciative of the opportunity. But we really just kind of wanted to come introduce ourselves today and for going forward if you have any interest in having a different service.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I believe you renewed March 1st, is that correct? Okay. What time of year do you discuss your consulting contract for the next year? Is there?
So we are in a 3-year contract right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
So I think we have 2 more years left.
Oh, you do, okay,
I was thinking last year was maybe when you signed it.
I think so.
okay. So, yeah.
It doesn't hurt to look.
Absolutely, that's what, we'll come look at it and maybe you don't go with us and there's no charge for that. So we definitely think it's beneficial to look around and see what other people have to offer.
It's the situation we're in, that's a hard horse to jump off of because once you do, you're not getting it back.
Right. And we, we're happy to keep you with Blue Cross or whatever and add in our services that we can offer along with that. We would never want to take you from Blue Cross if that's, especially where you have a grandfathered plan. But
Right.
yeah, we'd love to just kind of work alongside that if possible.
All right, appreciate you coming in. Sharon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Have a safe trip.
Thank you, Ashley.
Jennifer?
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
How are you guys this morning?
Sun shining. It's
Absolutely,
warm.
I think we got a tease going on here.
Yes.
I wanted to come talk to you guys about our yearly schedule for the Sherman County Speedway. Those are our tentative dates. We are still waiting on an IMCA, but knowing that some of the event venues around town are no longer available, I know that the Round Top gets rented out frequently, so I wanted to get a contract in place to secure our dates.
Okay.
It's same basic schedule as what we did last year, except for last year we weren't able to have a June race because there was conflict of interest on the property out there. So this is what we're shooting for,
So getting ahead of the game.
trying. Doesn't always happen.
As far as I can tell, we've been getting along pretty good with the association, you know, and that. I know we had some drainage issues and we got them.
I think we pretty much got that handled. I mean, the rain is just unpredictable anyway.
Well, that.
And we're working with dirt.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
We just, when a problem arises, we just try and resolve it, so.
It's either dirt or it's mud.
Yeah, exactly. If it would just have moisture everywhere but on the roads.
Yeah.
If you can control that, you wouldn't be sitting here.
You're right, I would not.
Is this about the normal amount of races that? Okay.
Yep, like I said, it's the same as last year, with the exception we didn't have a June show because
Right.
I think the endowment with the college was in there that, for our weekend that we had obligated for that.
Okay.
Brett, there's no changes in the lease.
No, just the dates.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the lease with Sherman County Speedway for 2024.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the lease with Sherman County Speedway for the 2024 schedule. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. So you've got dates locked in, young lady.
All right. Do you guys have any other questions for me, or?
I think so.
All right. Well, come catch a show or two. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Will he come sign that thing?
I can get him to, and if not, I can do what I've done in the past.
Okay,
So I just know he was busy today. So.
okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Murray, so you have anyone else coming or? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I wanted to visit about the shelter for Sherman County. One is we're working through the over 400 planning requirements for the county emergency operations plans. one of the requirements is we have to be able to shelter a certain percentage of our population and have that planned out. And so we currently have the Methodist Church here in town. I've also talked with Chief Earhart. The Armory can be used as a secondary shelter location.
Okay.
As a secondary. And then we also met with Kevin Zimmerman for the Church of Christ. Part of that is not only the amount of people we'd have to shelter, but also separating them in different locations in town. So if one part of town's affected, you've got an identified location in another part of town. The Church of Christ is laid out very well. They have handicap bathrooms, showers. There's some classrooms there, so if we had to separate off people during a shelter event, we could do that as well. So we're still working through that, but along with this, we did actually have to open a shelter with one of the recent winter storms. The process that we have in place when they close I-70, for the most part, that works really, really well. I know dispatch, law enforcement, there's several people that are involved with that process, but if parking, hotels start to fill up, then we work with KDOT to try to back that up. Usually that works very well. There's always circumstances that come into play, and during one of our storms, I-70 was closed, monitoring rooms, we were getting pretty close to being full, but they opened I-70. So we're good, traffic's moving, we're good. Well, then they started having accidents, all of a sudden it's shut down again. We filled up with very little notice. There was nowhere for people to go, and yeah, KDOT can get stuff shut down at Colby, but that takes a little bit of time. Plus you have all the traffic in between there and here that's still coming into town. And so we ended up with about 150 people with no place to go. For the most part, I mean, we learn stuff with the shelter as we do every time. We don't activate those a lot. One of the big things that come out of that was we have cots stored out at the Armory, but getting them to where they need to go is kind of a challenge, especially in a winter storm situation. And so I guess I wanted to visit with you guys on possibly, one of the suggestions was getting an enclosed trailer that we put all the shelter supplies in. That way, no matter where we need it, whatever location, you
Just
hook
hook
up
up and go.
Put everything in there, store it. We'll have to obviously, put it on monthly checks and monitor it. But I know the Church of Christ said if we wanted to park it there, we could. And we've got some other locations to park it, so.
Approximately what size of a trailer are you thinking or looking at or wanting to talk about, or?
New, used.
Well, so we have a few options. Jennifer Cure, Ashley, you're gonna have to help me with what that grant is.
LHEAP.
Grant. We possibly have $5,000 to go towards the trailer. One that we did look at is new, it's $12,000. That is the capacity of what we would need. If you think about it, those cots, they fold up, but they take up a lot of space. So, so I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. If you think that's something that we should look into, I mean, obviously we'll get quotes and look into it further. But.
Okay, we're looking at an 8 by 21.5 foot trailer.
Tandem bumper boat.
Tandem, yeah. And the nice thing about those with the fold down back door, the ramp.
Just so
carrying
you
stuff
can,
in it.
when the cots, they're not on a wheel, or they just carry them?
Right, and we keep a few stored at the church, but obviously everybody's limited on space, and so the majority of them are stored out at the Armory. But when you have volunteers and you're trying to open up a shelter within 15 minutes, I mean, that's a lot of back and forth and scrambling.
So the Methodist Church is the primary. That's your primary place where you fill that up first.
Correct. Currently,
So the closer to there to park this would be the best.
yes. But like I said, when we went out, so it's gonna depend on what the situation is. We'll have the Methodist Church and the Church of Christ as our main locations, and then the Armory as an overflow or secondary out there. Winter storm, I kind of like the idea of having it more on that end of town. KDOT can keep that highway cleaned instead of trying to get travelers through town on
Through
streets.
town and
stuff.
everything.
And it's not a lot of fun dragging a trailer that size through snowdrifts. I mean, so, yeah.
So Ronnie, are you looking for another place? Is that what you're also doing? That's closer to the interstate?
Well, we needed another location here in town, and then through that shelter activation, there was a lot of people that had volunteered saying, hey, I'm willing to help, and so we're also coordinating a shelter team of volunteers and kind of revamping that. And the Church of Christ had expressed a lot of interest. There are several members out there that want to help with the shelter as well, so.
And I would gladly not stay up all night if they want to.
Yeah, and it takes quite a few people. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have people there monitoring all night. We can't just open it and turn people.
There you go,
loose.
yeah.
So, and then if you have to start serving food, that sort of stuff. Part of the reason we look at churches is they're exempt from the commercial kitchen. So.
Yeah, that's right.
To add on to the trailer deal. So Chief Earhart actually brought out a bunch of the cots from the armory during that snowstorm. The city has, the police department has got rid of that vehicle that they use to bring them cots to the Methodist church as well. So that, I mean, they're all in cars now, so that's gonna be another hindrance
Yeah.
just to think about as well. They brought 20 to 25 in the pickup that Frankie Hayes was driving, and they've now turned that over to City Public Works. So if the city's not out, there's not a pickup for the city to be able to bring in.
And to tag on to that, fire and EMS was a big help,
Yeah.
cleaning around. Jenny's husband, my husband came, and they were helping manhandle, but that's not always gonna be the case. They just all happen to be handled because it was December 26th. So like, you know, that's the beauty of what Ryan's talking about with the church shelter teams, is we'd like to just make it a handed off situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and first responders are a big help during those events, but we have to keep in mind, we don't know what's also going on.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
if they're all busy,
Exactly, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we were actually very lucky during that incident, because we didn't have a lot of stuff going on. You know, Oakley and them had a bunch of stuff going on, but we didn't out here. So all of our first responders could help out. I mean, we had 5 or 6 fire guys and EMS and that kind of stuff to help clean the parking lot and keep it clean for people to come in and out.
I mean,
To
even
help
Adrian was out
parking.
sweeping the sidewalk.
Yeah,
Anything
Adrian was,
she could do.
yeah, anything that she could do.
There's a few others.
They were getting cars lined up, so it wasn't a big mess when they were leaving and all that kind of stuff. So they were a great help as well.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I do have about $8,000 left over in the budget from last year, if you guys would allow me to move that over. And then we have some money in equipment as well for this year that we could utilize to pay for that.
So that trailer's available right now.
Yes.
As of earlier this week, yes.
Yeah. I would make the motion to allow emergency management to purchase that trailer for storage of cots.
Okay. And other supplies that you would have with it.
Supplies.
Yeah, there's blankets, there's pillows.
2023 carryover.
Yes.
Yes, carry over, and if we have money from
The grant.
the grant,
Do we have money from the grant?
I don't know if she has it yet.
No, I don't know if we have it yet.
Oh, okay.
So how would that work? If he buys it now and then the grant is specifically for that, is that allowed?
So it's just gonna be one check anyways. So we would just put that back in that same line item that comes out of,
Okay,
so
okay.
it would just reimburse his equipment line
Okay.
item.
Well, second that motion then.
Been moved in second, we allow emergency management to purchase a trailer for the use of storage of supplies for overflow on emergency needs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign.
And the last thing I have is just the 2024 emergency management agreement. There is no changes from last year, so. A motion to
Do you
approve it.
want, there's, that looks.
No changes, huh? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for emergency management director between Cheyenne County, Rollins County, and Sherman County for 2024.
I'll second that one.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion's passed. So on these storms that you're kind of scrambling to go 3 different directions or 4.
Yeah, I generally try to just kind of stay put and coordinate all 3, so. The last 2 storms, all 3 counties had issues all at the same time, so.
Yeah.
When you're closing 36 and I-70 and you got trucks and, I know, we even had, was that 2 days later, 3 days later? Wasn't snowing, but the wind come through and all
Wind
the
come
wind was
through,
blowing and
yeah.
then they shut stuff down and we had hundreds of trucks trying to park in town. So,
But I'll tag on to this. Again, thank you for allowing me to have that additional staff member in my department, because in years past, I was tied to the radio console. I could not help Ryan. So I am now freed up when needed to help him, so.
I appreciate everybody's help because it literally takes an army when you're scrambling like that. So.
Yep.
Had one question, when the weather, not necessarily when they're closing the roads, but when the weather temperature drops, we have some people who live in trailers that don't have heat. We have some people who are living on the street, so to speak. Is the church open during that time? And if so, how cold does it need to get before it's opened up to them? Or where do they go?
I don't know that, I can't speak on behalf of the churches just being open because I don't know their individual,
So that's not part of our emergency plan.
as far as if the churches are just open or not, no.
Well, I'm just
But
saying
we do have the option for like what we call a warming shelter. That we have warming and cooling.
Okay.
Because we can also have the same situation in the summertime if the power goes out, places are getting really hot. When I am notified that we have people, if the power's out and we have people without heat, stuff like that, that is an option. We can activate what we call a warming shelter. But we don't really have it in our plan, like if a temperature drops to a certain degree, we just automatically open. And that's something that we can explore if you guys want, but we currently don't have that set.
Well, I can tell you, we've needed that.
Okay.
And it wasn't when it was snowing out, but the temperature dropped really low and we had people come at Hope's place looking for a place to spend the night, but somewhere they could get some heat.
I can
And
speak to that as far as like transient aid.
Yeah.
That's something that the police department administers. We'll send an officer to the person. The rules of the transient aid is part of the ministerial alliance. Part of it is a hotel room for the night if the criteria are met. And so that is something that if they do come in, their only rule generally is that local citizens aren't under the umbrella of transient aid. So, I mean, it's kind of a tricky situation. They do make exceptions, so just let dispatch know and we can have an officer meet with them.
Another question that came up not necessarily during the cold, but even during the snow is, do they allow pets?
Have to.
Did the church allow pets?
So,
Ish.
the shelter doesn't necessarily have to allow pets, that's kind of
Yeah.
up to the church. The- We make arrangements for pets. We
Okay.
can't just turn pets away. So this last shelter, they worked with Kathy, and she was shuttling pets back and forth. The issue that we ran into is once the interstate opened, people wanted to then leave. Well, they wanted to get their pets. Well, that's not real fair to Kathy.
Yeah, she's running
In the
back.
middle of the night now so some of them were told, we'll take your pet, but we're keeping it till morning. So there was that, but we do make arrangements for pets, so. The exception to that is obviously if somebody has a, I'm gonna ask
Service
actually for a
service dog.
service animal, or we can't ask questions, nothing like, and that they have to be allowed in.
And we did have one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we just, okay, and they went off in their little corner and no problems.
Okay.
That becomes a challenge. You know, if it's one dog, okay.
Yeah.
But you get 20, 30 dogs in a room and then somebody brings in a cat and somebody brings in a snake. I mean, where do you draw the line of? So, and I mean, but those are real challenges that we do face is.
Brett would be happy to draw up a resolution for something like that.
Tell me what to put in it.
On cold weather, the snakes can sleep outside, so.
That's right.
No, I will look into that though, if you guys think we should have like a temperature threshold for one
Well,
of the shelters.
We do have some people, especially the ones that live in the trailer houses. And we had quite a few of them come in this last real cold snap, and some of their lines had frozen up, and
Yeah, you get sub-zero, you got problems.
yeah,
Okay.
and hopefully we had showers and stuff there, so they were able to come in and do some of that. But for some reason, we had a bigger demand this time than we've had in the past. It seemed like.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think everyone needs to realize that if they go through dispatch, call dispatch, they're set up for connecting to law enforcement, to you, to the church, all these different places. So don't be afraid to call dispatch and ask for, can we get this or that? They have the first line availability, and there's someone there 24/7.
Right, and we encourage that because I would rather see a law enforcement officer who is trained to keep themselves safe when dealing with people.
Right.
Because sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
And so that's why they approach and speak to the people. They also run their information through us to make sure they're not wanted, all those types of things, because then that's a whole nother sheltering situation. We give them over to these guys. So it's just a safer way to deal with people that you don't know.
Yeah, and anytime, anything like that, I mean, I'm on call 24/7, so feel free to get a hold of me too if a need arises. Sometimes I get questions like, well, why did we have to let Ryan know if the power's out? Well, that's a very good example of if the power's out, I need to know that. So if we need to start making arrangements, if it's gonna
Right.
be a long-term outage. I can't help what I don't know about, if that makes sense, so. Okay, that is all I have.
Thank you,
sir.
Ryan.
Thank you.
That's right.
Okay. I have quite a few tax roll corrections.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through each one of these, or what all do we have here? first three, we have reduction of penalty to 25%, and then no longer own the equipment that is being taxed. And then trying to see where the explanation is. These are refunds.
Does this start actually at 0012 and then numerically go up?
Yeah.
That's how I do it. Approve the tax corrections from 0012 through whatever the last one is.
I haven't seen 0012. I got
It's in the middle of the stack, so.
7, 28, 20. Okay. There's 19, 12. Go up to 0029.
That sounds good, all right?
No, it goes 39.
It's 30, I seen it 36.
Okay.
12 and 39.
Okay.
12 through 39. I'll make a motion to approve 0012 through 0039 on the tax roll.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. For correction of tax rolls from 0012 to 0039. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. I'll sign them after we get done with the meeting. We have resolution 24-1, which is designating distribution of county funds. We have listed First National Bank West, Outdoor Bank, and Western State Bank, and State Municipal Investment Pool. This is on resolution 24-1.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 24-1 for county depositories.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded for resolution 24-1 for depositories. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion is passed. Resolution 24-2 is the waiver of the gap financing. Whereas the county has determined the financial statement and financial reports at the end of the year to be prepared and confirmed as with the laws of KSA 75-1120A. Be further resolved, the board shall financial report. So it's just a financial reporting for 24-2.
Make a motion to approve 24-2.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution 24-2. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed. Resolution 24-3 is officers' salaries is listed through the complete list of all the different entities that we've already talked about.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 24-3 on salaries.
Been moved, a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded on salaries. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Then we have Charter Resolution number 19, regulated infrastructures, wind, solar, electric, storage, nuclear, and infrastructure stuff. Have any other discussion? We've worked on this one. Brett, you're good on everything here on this?
That, the resolution essentially requires that any of those regulated entities, wind, solar, et cetera, would have to enter into that agreement that we've been working on with Folston-Sifkin, which would be part of the road use agreement, setbacks, things of that nature.
I entertain a motion to accept Charter Resolution 19.
I make a motion to approve Charter Resolution 19.
And I will second that. I have one question. This information, does it need to go out to public?
So
viewing?
charter resolutions are published in the newspaper.
Okay, that's, thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
And that you guys will recall the way that Folston-Sifkin, Trish with Folston-Sifkin drafted that is that the agreement is a framework and the terms within the actual agreement are negotiable.
Right.
So-
Right.
But any changes to that would have to be done unanimously.
Correct.
Okay, now we have Resolution 24-4, which is tax sale. And listed here are all the different individuals at this time, correct?
Correct. We'll, that'll be filed, and then title work will be prepared. And any additional interested parties will then be included in the amended petition. There are 30 parcels, and a little over half are mineral interest, so we're still working on cleaning those up. But I think 11 or 12 of them are residential.
Make a motion to approve Resolution -24-4, authorizing foreclosure proceedings and the sale of real property for delinquent taxes.
I will second it.
Been moved and seconded that we accept Resolution 24-4. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Steve, did you sign the petition also?
There's two signatures.
Okay.
There's one on the
You
very.
had one spot just for yourself.
Right, one of them's for me and the other one's for all commissioners.
I'm still listed as chairman on here, does it matter? Or do you want to change that up?
Yeah, let me change that. Thought I changed that yesterday.
So it'll just be the first page to change.
He's waiting to change
Oh.
that, so might as well wait to signature on that. Agreement for sale of road maintenance material. This must be the gravel.
Yeah.
And we have between, this is just the one. And this pit is located at northeast quarter of 291038. So that'd be in your neck of the woods, I would take it. This is the Henderson.
That's a Henderson one. No, those would be
Where's
the
that?
Finders.
Pardon?
Isn't that one T-bar?
That's T-Bar.
Yeah.
And Henderson Partners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
find it here, but I've seen it once, but I'll make a motion to approve that agreement.
Is there a second to the motion for the Henderson T-Bar gravel agreement?
It's 75 cents a yard, pretty good. Is that reasonable?
That's,
That's what we're paying the other one.
yeah, we're on the same,
Same as their,
yeah, everybody else, and it's,
Thank you.
okay. I'll second it.
been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
That worked out nice.
One signature on that. That one back where it is. Okay. Talk a little bit more about the inclement weather policy. Had some people asked if they could work remotely on the days that the courthouse is closed. And my opinion is if they can document that they're doing their job and they can do it online. I talked to Jennifer at the health department and she says they're doing some of that already, where if the weather, even though the courthouse might not be closed, but if weather's not favorable for them to be driving, they can do WIC and some of that online, and it's documented. Rochelle up at the appraiser's office says a lot of their documentation, the stuff they do is on the computer, you know, so that they can document that, so.
And that's addressed in the personnel policy that, you know, with prior approval to the
Right.
supervisor, they can do that, so.
So,
On that particular issue, I know I voted for that, but I don't think it was really the right thing to do. I still think that we hurt people that work for us that are good people in the policy that we agreed to. I know we do a great job of taking care of our equipment and stuff, but saying that you can't come to work and we're not going to pay you is not taking care of the people who run those equipment for us. And by far, they're more important than the equipment. And to me, I'd rather take a more of a positive approach where we would say, hey, we'll pay you because we've already budgeted that in our budget for the salary. And then try to figure out how we can maybe award the people who have to work differently. If it's time and a half, or if it's to give them another day at their discretion that they could use off. I mean, I'd feel a lot better doing that than telling some of our people saying, we're closed, you can't come to work, and by the way, we're not paying you either. I don't feel good about that, and after I voted for that, I felt like I made a mistake voting for that.
Okay, here's the first issue. I wrote myself a note here. How, when, and why we close county offices has to be addressed. Steve has the authority to do that because we agreed. That
Right, we agree with
we don't
that.
have to have special meetings and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and that's fine. There's these fine lines here. Okay, was PD, the police department and Public Works decide when city streets are gonna be closed and which ones will get closed or not. Was contact made with any city departments as to whether the streets were closed? Because we're out in the country, I don't know what's going on in town, and I know typically the town drifts in probably worse than we do, unless we're at a windbreak or something like that. So, I mean, it all starts with accountability of why it's being closed and for how long. So that's part one of this thing. Part two of it, the folks that have to work out in that, that's the job. I mean, you gotta work out in it. You work past 40, you're gonna get overtime. I know the road and bridge guys probably love it because they're gonna get some OT and well-deserved.
Well,
I made up my mind based on the atmosphere that I came up through the ranks in for 30-some years. That doesn't make it right, wrong, or indifferent. It is what it is. I would be willing, my opinion is, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you make a policy, you wanna find that middle ground, you wanna work with your people, but there's got to be some accountability within that policy. Just a wide open, throw a blanket over it thing doesn't cut it for me. Because we don't know who's gonna be sitting in that chair, years from now, and how he's bending their ear and saying, well, it's slick out, it's cold, let's just close it. And the staff's gonna go, that's fine, well, yeah, that's great, because we're gonna get paid anyway. So that encourages people just to wanna stay home. I know in this instance, had it not been closed, there would have been people show up for work. I mean, I was told that, but we're told we gotta stay home. But I would have been to work. So I would say build in, some inclement weather days or day, whatever. Last year we didn't close at all. The city hasn't closed their offices forever. I mean, so that's their deal. This is our deal. I would say, I'd be willing to go up to 2 days. And that way the people without any time to burn at least have that cushion. But yet there's accountability so that this isn't being closed willy-nilly on a whim. Does that make sense?
it does.
I mean, so that, I'd be willing to do that and give it a whirl. It only works as long as we're here. When we're gone, the next group can change it however they want. I mean, that's the thing about a resolution or a policy. It can be changed.
Some of the stuff that is in that, if they can do their work remotely, it's like Jennifer said. She said,
sure,
we did it all during COVID,
right.
But they worked remotely. I just agreed with the fact that we need to have accountability. If they say, yeah, I come into work, well, if they came into the office and sat here all day and didn't have any and didn't have any people greet them or see them, then how do we know? But on the same point, if, say, I'm gonna pick on Brett, that his secretaries or his staff can take their computer and do immense filing and all that on the computer, well, you have some way of documenting, okay, on average, it would take your personnel X number of hours to do filing of this nature. Well, then you have something that says, yes, they put their time in doing that. We have proof. But that's why.
And then you have to stretch it a little bit farther. You gotta, there's a determination a lot of times that are made, and I did hear this from a department head. The department head and one other individual would run the office, and the rest would be considered non-essential for that day and would be sent home. Okay, that would be covered under something like this if they didn't have anything for them to do remotely. They got a couple of inclement weather days to rely on. That's where I'd be willing to go with it, okay? That's just my opinion.
I was kind of curious, so during COVID, was there times that people were shut down, couldn't work? And if so, what did you do there?
Honestly, those instances, if there were, I didn't hear about them.
We were closed to the public for,
Yeah, the
I
public
think,
probably
a
wouldn't be allowed
week,
in.
maybe a week and a half,
Yeah,
but that was it. We still utilized drop boxes and stuff like that. But we were still here.
But you still came to work during that time? You were just close to the public?
Correct.
yeah, I didn't hear of anybody, having to stay home because.
As far as the
unless it-
courthouse, I don't know about,
Right.
I don't think
yeah,
anybody else.
Okay. I didn't know if we had a certain policy during that time.
Yeah, it
Covered
was,
that.
it was a nightmare. I mean, the whole thing was a nightmare, so.
Okay. Sorry, sometimes I talk to you from my back.
No, you're fine, you're fine. I can tell you guys, from my perspective, what I've heard from department heads is if you guys don't pay for this kind of situation, what happens when the basement leaks and we don't have a server?
It's a whole different deal. Now we're getting into,
Okay,
we're getting into the blanket deal here. We're talking about inclement weather.
okay.
So are we gonna leave it talking about inclement weather, or are we gonna start trying to imagine every conceivable reason, we'd have to close a building? I'm just asking. Where do you wanna stretch this thing?
Isn't that the reason for a coup plan?
Well,
Yeah, but.
I think we need to focus right now on inclement weather.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we can open up this can of worms and they'll crawl everywhere, but I'm just,
I'm of the opinion that if we provide the opportunity for the employees to do remote working, we cover two things at once. We keep them home in a safe spot. They don't have to travel, but they can do that.
but in the cases where,
If they don't have that computer,
well, any other department, maybe they have more employees than Ashley has. Maybe they've got 3 or 4 or 5. It's
Right.
like, well, yeah, you can work remotely. The rest of you, you're gonna have to just take off today, That's why I'm saying build in a couple of days
Of inclement
for
weather.
those times. And if it's not enough, then it reverts back to the old policy, whatever that, well, there was no policy.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some department heads saying, well, they were paid administrative pay, so I'm had to take vacation. So that's why you nail it down, so there's no guesswork. Like it or not, you're not gonna please everybody,
Yeah, that's right.
but I'm willing to make that concession.
I would give 1 day inclement weather.
Okay.
In the 12 years that I've been commissioner, we've closed 4 times. And so.
And
that-
yeah, it's never the same year.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Not
so
that it can't happen, but
I think that would give that opportunity for that person. And, that is strictly for inclement weather that,
right,
we do that.
which is primarily gonna be a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Now, to Ashley's point, okay, yeah, the basement floods, this, that, and the other, okay. We gotta look at that case by case thing. We can imagine all kinds of things,
I'm just thinking like Atwood School, where they're forced to not
Yeah,
be
yeah.
in that building.
Right.
That's out of our control. Is that punishable to the person if they
No.
can't be there to do their job? They can't come in because of a gas leak to even get their laptop to work remotely.
Correct. No,
That's, okay.
no,
That was the concerns that I heard was if it starts here, how far is this gonna go of required to use vacation days?
right.
So if could we have something drawn up like what Rod's talking about there? That if you can work remotely and you can prove that you're doing that by hours, we can pay you that. And if not, we have 1 or 2 days built in for
That would be inclement weather.
inclement weather only.
1 day built in for inclement weather.
Can we draw
That
something
would
up
be
like that?
per
Add
year,
that to them.
1 day per year,
Is that what you're saying? You're proposing 1 day?
yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, I'd like that better than what we did for sure.
Okay.
I'm not, you know, Steve's been here more than me, he knows how long we've been closed. I'm leaning more to the 2 days, but
Yeah, that, because, you know, you talked about like at the school system and stuff, well, the salaried teachers, that was fine, but
to
paras,
Paris,
they had to take that. And, you know, for the most part, it's 1 or 2 individuals that are very short on time that just started, and keeping your employees, you know, the ones you just get, you know, it helps protect them. But like one of the individuals at the health department said, she's been there 30 years, and you said that's always been the policy, is you use your vacation time. Well, if you've been here 30 years, you have a few more days of vacation that you can use. But I think if we provided that the 1 day of inclement weather policy of 1 day per year would be, I would accept that.
Now, do you want that to begin February 1 till the end of the year, and then it starts back over January 1,
Yes,
the next year?
yes.
Is that what you want to do? Okay,
Was that a motion?
I can make that a motion.
It's been moved to provide employees 1 day a year inclement weather, starting February 1, 2024, and go to January 31st, 2025. Do I hear a second?
I will second that, and we're adding in the remote work in that too, right?
That's already.
That's already implied.
That's already in play.
been covered in the personnel policy.
Okay.
And that's the discretion of the supervisors of that to document that they, so. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Is there anything else?
I think we hit them all, didn't we? Brett, got anything?
Yes, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Meeting's adjourned.